What's going on, everybody? Mortem here, this time bringing you a video on a free DLC update for Jagged Alliance 3, one of my favorite games from this past year. And while it's gotten a few patches since launch, this is its first, I would say, big content update. And best of all, it is free, like I mentioned, adding both new areas to explore and new quest line, a new transit system even, alongside all the usual bugs and fixes that you would expect from kind of any given patch, to be honest, all makes for a pretty exciting update for a game that has been mostly quiet since launch. Now, to cover the most important and exciting stuff right away, the new quest and content basically revolves around an underground railway station in our main country here of Grand Chien. Completing a quest line will open up a new method of fast travel across certain portions of the map, making it much faster, and in a game where you're not exactly racing against the clock necessarily, but where things are timed is important. But in order to do that, you first have to discover this underground area, and the easiest way to do that is go to F11 on the main overworld grid map, if you will, which will lead you to this bunker area that allows you to get down to where you're going. Now, upon getting down there, you're going to be facing all sorts of enemies, including a few new units specifically relating to the new quest line. The new quest line is especially interesting because I think they did some cool things meshing potential history with actual problems that were in the base game. Specifically, this quest line relates to the red rabies outbreak that serves as one of the problems the country of Grand Chien is facing as our mercenary company tries to assist them. The plague, or the red rabies, can be a little bit obscure, but in the lower right portion of the map, it's a pretty prominent problem. And if you do a bunch of investigating, you can find out all sorts of things about it and even potentially cure it in the base game. This new quest line focuses around how it got started, which involves this underground subway system that is meant to date back from World War II. I won't say anything beyond that, but once you finish that story up, you'll then have access to the new subway system, allowing you to move across certain portions of the map that much faster. Overall, this includes several new maps to explore, multiple underground areas, so beyond just new quests, you will be going to new places as well, most of them of course focusing on these underground portions, though beyond just the train that you would expect, you'll also find the occasional lab or just general fortification. Now, I will say the enemies that come along with this content are much more deadly than the main game, and for that reason, this content is mostly meant to be mid to late game stuff, though the main thing in terms of starting it just seems to be being able to get to the point of the map that you can actually enter this area. But the enemies down there are dangerous. In fact, a couple of times they crit my characters for like 300-400 damage, which is essentially a one-shot. That's not terribly unwelcome though, given that the base game had some pretty easily cheesed AI in many places, so having some enemies that are genuinely a bit more deadly can provide a decent challenge for some, I imagine. Now, that's not the only thing this particular update brought us, though the rest is, I would say, much more run-of-the-mill, including things like reworking some of the UI and menus to make them a little bit more clear, such as when you're about to engage in a battle on a given cell, on top of general inventory UIs, etc. So a lot of that was just focused on cleaning a few things up, alongside some general balance improvements and overall bug fixes and just adjustments. So, needless to say, it's a pretty substantial update for Jagged Alliance 3, including a free DLC update right before Christmas, so it could prove a pretty fun time to jump into it. As of right now, moving forward, if you like this game, I believe their next update is supposed to bring modding maps and proper campaigns to the title, and while they have more updates planned, they haven't actually told anybody what those are yet, but modding will be coming to the game in full force sometime soon as well. That said, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. Nothing too crazy, but I did really enjoy Jagged Alliance 3 this year, so I wanted to cover this update, since I think all of this just makes an already very fun game that much better. So, with that in mind, I certainly hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube jazz. But regardless of any of that, truly, just thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. May you wander in wisdom and have an amazing day.